And then so the defense continued to play well, forced 3 turnovers for the second straight game, playing well. They gave up a lot of yards, but bend don't break is where they're at right now. I think they'll continue to improve. Second thing I liked was Lamar after the game. Because he was like, the offense didn't play well. You have to walk that fine line.
But do you agree that the offense wasn't great?
Yes, I do agree. But I think you have to walk the fine line between, and Philly didn't do this 2 years ago, between we won but we didn't play well and just killing yourself, and now you're down and you don't even feel like you got to win, versus just accepting the win. We're stacking wins. That's important. It's hard to win in this league against any of the 32 teams. And acknowledging, but we have to get better. Like, they still have a great mentality of, it was a great win, we got to stack these W's, but the offense didn't play that well. They were 2-5 in the red zone. And that's, Nick, that is one thing. I mean, the Ravens are getting back to themselves when one thing is great and something else, kind of. But the red zone with Derrick Henry, Patrick Ricard, and Lamar Jackson, you should not struggle in the red zone. They didn't last year. This year they have been. So that's something. But good win. Lamar, that was the worst game Lamar's played outside of a game against the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs, that's the worst game he's really played in a while. Yeah. So. But they were fine, and it was a good win against a decent team.
So listen, they win, Steelers lose. It's the greatest weekend imaginable. And people are going to say I'm hating. I don't care. I think Brew actually will agree with me. Last year, the mark of the Ravens was they annihilated good teams. They beat Buffalo by 1 million. Lamar had 5 touchdowns, and they were up 4 scores on Tampa going into the fourth quarter. They beat Denver by 100. They beat Pittsburgh by late in the year by 20. Yeah. They beat Houston like 31-2. Those are 5 playoff teams they annihilated. For me to feel like, okay, the Ravens not only, can they catch Pittsburgh's in one box? Are they the team they were supposed to be coming into the year that's dominant, leading Super Bowl contenders in another? I need to see that Ravens team come back, and we haven't seen that yet. I'm not.
But why do you need to see this dominant team when there's seemingly no dominant teams right now? I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. And a team like the Vikings are a really interesting team because they obviously have a great defense. And any of the weeks that the Vikings haven't looked good, you really said, like, wow, this defense maybe hasn't looked that good, and the offense was overwhelmed. And right now, the defense for the Baltimore Ravens absolutely annihilated and overwhelmed J.J. McCarthy. They can only do what they can do when dealing with some young quarterback. And they absolutely made, like Colin Cowherd's out here saying that J.J. McCarthy is a bust right now. That's how bad J.J. looked against the Baltimore Ravens. And that was a 100% a direct cause from the Baltimore Ravens. It's not like JJ had all time in the pocket and he was just getting happy feet, or that he was just missing wide open receiver. No, the Baltimore Ravens absolutely got after him and swallowed him up. So the defense looked elite that game, absolutely positively. Now the separate box is the offense, and you want to say, well, they should be able to roll them and blah, 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 blah. This is a Brian Flores defense. This defense is great. This defense was fighting, and yeah, they were 2 for 5. Brew took my line. They're 2 for 5 in the red zone. You want to see them be better. I don't think Lamar Jackson necessarily played bad. His box score wasn't amazing. You just can't always go by the box score. I think he felt trapped at times. He continues this season to get kind of stuck in this. Am I throwing? Am I running? Am I throwing? Am I running? And that felt imperfect to me. And his elusiveness, his slipperiness felt not as lethal as it has been. And Derrick Henry 20 carries for 75 yards. Nothing too breakout. In that regard, Lamar obviously 9 carries for 36 as well. I just think that this was a great defensive stance from the Minnesota Vikings, and there was not many opportunities for the Baltimore Ravens to really, how do I want to put it, to really snap things in a way that made you feel like, okay, the score is 40, as like a bunch of the scores were like 44 to like 21 or something. just by virtue of how this game was unfolding, because of the stance that Brian Flores put up against Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense. Also understand that this Baltimore Ravens offense is still having to regain their footing, and the offense necessarily wasn't the problem before Lamar's injury, and the defense was the problem. Now the defense is coming around, and now the offense has to kind of get reintegrated a bit with each other right now. Lamar Jackson has to continue to get comfortable, and you know, you're going up against a Heil defense. You just are. I mean, I think Brian Flores does a great job scheming against individual quarterbacks, and I think he's shown that a lot over the years. He just showed that, you know, his last game against the Detroit Lions against Jared Goff, and so I think that's a lot what we saw yesterday. And I get it. We don't see the Vikings as this great team right now. It's not so much that they're a bad team. I think they're just an inconsistent and an incomplete team in this moment of time. And yeah, I don't see the need to downplay this game. If this was against the Cleveland Browns, even though they have a pretty potent defense as well, if this was against the Cincinnati Bengals, although Joe Flacco has been putting up a lot of points, if this was against, and I could just keep naming these teams, then I could maybe understand a lot more. I could, if Baltimore had been playing, if Josh Lamar Jackson had been playing all season long, everyone's fully healthy, everything, I could understand. But I mean, it's just, I don't know what point we're trying to prove here by saying that the Baltimore Ravens, I would only feel that they're back if they dominated the Minnesota Vikings here, if they won 35-7. Like I'm not so sure how relevant that is. The Houston Texans and a backup quarterback, Davis Mills or whatever the heck it is, just beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in the same run, where then the Eagles got rolled by the New York Giants. The Buffalo Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs, just got rolled by the Miami Dolphins. Like, at the end of the day, this season, especially, it really does not matter how you win. When you're playing these other teams that aren't the actual teams that you're going to be facing in the playoffs, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Colts, the Patriots, like nothing else matters at this point now. Nothing else matters. Even the Bills getting rolled by the Dolphins, it's like, I don't know if they play the Dolphins and maybe there's a problem in the playoffs, but they're playing the Chiefs, so I don't know. See what happens. Like, this has just been such a bizarre season right now. So if you're trying to look at it through this lens of like, well, in 2023 they rolled it in 2024. Yeah, who cares? I mean, who honestly, who cares? What does that matter right now in this moment of time? On November 10th, 2025? What does that matter? How badly they beat the whoever's last season. They also lost to the Raiders last year. And lost to the Browns to Jameis Winston, I think, if memory serves me correctly. Yeah, they rolled the Bills and then got beat by the Bills in the playoffs. So I don't get what that reference point does for anyone here at all. If anything, I really like that this game was close and tough, and it was a bend, don't break. The Ravens didn't go beyond themselves. The offense, although it took them a while to get going and they were 2 for 5 in the red zone, they were persistent. The defense did not let up. The defense didn't like, hey, we're great. We're great. We're great. And now we're not. J.J. McCarthy got the best of us. That's not what happened. And so I appreciate a win like this in a lot of ways. More so than if they just won 35-7. Because I do expect a lot more fight from the Minnesota Vikings. And I know what the Minnesota Vikings are capable of doing. Especially defensively. Like, in a lot of ways, Nick is going to be more impressed by what Matthew Stafford did against the 49ers, who are decimated. Absolutely positive. It was the easiest day for Stafford and that offense. That's not that impressive to me, honestly. That's not. But what I saw out of the Ravens going up against the Vikings, yeah, it was considering the circumstances. Considering the circumstances, that to me is the key. You have to consider the circumstances and where the Baltimore Ravens are at in this moment of time. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. what do you guys all think about Lamar and the Ravens? How do you feel about them? You know, even Lamar talked about that. This offense wasn't good enough, and Brew talked about it. You know, are you still concerned about this team like Nick is saying? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.